Good morning to you. Mark Stott, HurricaneTrack here. It's now Tuesday, the 23rd of July. And yes, it's still, unfortunately, 2024. It's not that bad, right? Hopefully not. Anyway, good to be back with you. It's been a few days. What did we do since I last saw you? That was Friday. Well, we had a great gathering of people coming up to help out with hurricane season stuff, getting equipment ready, working on the software side, the hardware side, throwing some stuff away, ordering some new stuff, planning, talking, and then we all went and saw Twisters together Friday night. And at the end of today's update, I have a little reference that I want to share with you related to that movie, so stick around for that. And of course, last week I went down to the Cayman Islands, and amongst all that excitement, everything going on, I managed to catch myself a cold. Nothing serious. I don't need sympathies. I'm not looking for sympathy. It just sucks because I'm trying to go 110%. There's so much to do. Family stuff, work stuff. It's exciting. It's summer. I want to keep going. I don't want to sleep. Just work, work, work. I enjoy what I do very much. You get a cold, and it's just like, ugh. It's your body's way of slowing you down. But I'm doing better. I'm back, and it's good to be with you. So let's get started, all right? We will get to the headline there, the thumbnail graphic, in just a moment. But first, let's address the tropics, like the here and now, the current stuff, right? Atlantic Basin, nice and quiet. East Pacific, still remarkably quiet. Two areas to watch. Neither of these look like they're going to develop. At least they don't have a high chance at all from the National Hurricane Center. If we look at the satellite imagery here are both of our systems in the East Pac. Pretty stout intertropical convergent zone. Areas of disturbed weather riding through there, but nothing notable. We do have some disorganized areas of showers and thunderstorms in the western Gulf of Mexico. Another cluster here to the west of the Florida Peninsula. In the eastern Gulf, and kind of a stalled front and just general southwesterly flow through the nation's eastern portions. And it's been pretty wet because of that. And boy, between the CrowdStrike thing Friday and all the nasty wet weather in the east and the airline issues, maybe a sick day everybody needed one. Anyhow, tropics pretty quiet overall. And that's a good thing with everything else we've got going on. In fact, you can see kind of the edge here of the Saharan air layer, another round of it coming in, and we can scoot over. I really like this, that Dr. Cowan, Levi Cowan, has such a cool and easy-to-use interface. There it is. We can see coming right off Africa there, and you can clearly pick this out. Deep area of Saharan air. It's very dry in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. You get a whole bunch of suspended particulate matter there. But you know what, folks? It's more than just the dust. I want to make this very clear. I see it oftentimes probably overdone, that people say, well, there's too much dust out there, so there won't be any hurricane development. It's not necessarily the dust. It's the reason that you have the dust. The dust is what we see on this, true color visible kind of satellite shot that we got here. But it's the mid-level dry air. You cannot have warm air over warm air and expect anything, much of instability. You have to have cold air so that warm, buoyant air can rise into the cold air, and that's how you have instability. That's a very simple way to put it. So when we see all this dried, well, you can't see the dryness, but you know it's there, because there's no convection. There's no thunderstorms down there. The thunderstorms are confined way to the south here along about 10 degrees of latitude, and as long as all this is in place, the hurricanes aren't going to be coming anytime soon, and this is very typical even during hyperactive seasons. Just go back and look at 2005. You can go to Storm 2K. You can check out their archives. Plenty of dust in 2005, plenty of it in 2020, plenty of it in 2017. I'm not going to keep harping on it. All right, so the vorticity signature over here in the East Pac, couple areas. This is more stretched out vorticity coming off of South America, but nothing's really coming together. For whatever reason, the East Pac is just, falling behind, way down in the ACE count, record low levels of activity, and that usually means that the Atlantic Basin will dominate once it is its turn climatologically. And at least for now, though, just any energy out here is stretched out, and you don't see anything anywhere else. By the way, all those clouds and showers and thunderstorms I showed you in the Gulf, both areas, nothing to worry about there, nothing congealing at the surface. Looking at the modeling for the East Pack, I want you to pay attention right through here, and you will see this is the GFS from the 6Z run. Nothing to speak of over the next week. Very minor disturbances riding through there. The record slow season continues in the East Pack. Same kind of idea, generally speaking, from the Euro, although it's a little bit more aggressive in the short term, and that's stretching it there. Aggressive, that's pretty weak looking overall, and whatever does try to get going there would move into cooler water very quickly, so the lack of activity in the Eastern Pacific looks like it's going to continue as we round out the month of July. This takes us to July the 30th. All right, let's go to Ben Noll, our buddy down in New Zealand, who often posts very helpful and relevant information both during the snowy and wintry time of year for the lower 48, specifically the Hudson Valley area, but also climatological stuff related to hurricane season, La Nina, El Nino, that kind of stuff. And this one got my attention. So let's examine it. After all, I used this part of his tweet as part of my thumbnail. Thank you, Ben. I do appreciate it. All right, so Ben says La Nina-like conditions have gradually grown in the equatorial Pacific this month owing to enhanced trade winds. Enhanced trade winds typically help to stir up the ocean. It creates upwelling, all kinds of other stuff. So the enhanced trades have helped to bring back the growing La Nina, basically. It's not here yet, but we're getting there. Furthermore, continuing on with what Ben said, however, he says, if you only looked at the Nino 3.4 index, you'd see a rather unimpressive monthly value of around 0.3 on the positive side. Nothing to see here, right? Well, not quite. So let's stop there and see exactly what he's talking about. We'll use yellow so it differentiates itself. So the 3.4 area that Ben is talking about is right through here. All right? So this is your 1, 2, this is your 3, this is your 4, and kind of like a Venn diagram, this is the 3.4 area right through here. That is typically what most people look at when they are determining the state of the ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation. And it's generally not that cool overall. But, as Ben goes on to say, this relative coolness, it's right here. When comparing the tropical Pacific to the rest of the global tropics, it's relatively cool. The relative Nino 3.4 index is, and that's the RONI, is around minus 0.4 and has hovered near the La Nina threshold since May. This relative coolness will likely prove meaningful, and this is very important, to the upcoming peak of hurricane season, and he's talking about the Atlantic. The cool water in the Pacific will suppress convective activity there. Instead, convective forcing will likely focus on the warmer Atlantic. The development of La Nina-like conditions will likely accelerate in the next week or two as strong trades continue. So going back to this, what stands out to me the most is how warm the Atlantic is relative to everything else. And the coolness here relative to everything else is enough that it acts like a La Nina already. Because this is so warm, we'll put 2 pluses in here, that even the slight cooling here acts like we're in a La Nina. Because everything is just warmer globally. And even last year with that El Nino, the Atlantic was so warm, and the background state of everything was so warm, and that's what he's talking about here, the relative Nino index. Last year, we had record activity in the Atlantic, relatively speaking, compared to what we should have seen in an El Nino, because everything was already just so much warmer, that the El Nino is harder to be an El Nino, La Nina is harder to be La Nina, because everything is just warmer. Hopefully that makes sense. That's what this is all about. I'll put a link to this tweet, and you can read it yourself, and you can message Ben, follow him, whatever. He's pretty good at responding. He's a busy man, but he likes interacting with people. So if you want to know more, check it out. All right? All right, so looking at this is what I usually show you. You can clearly see it. There is our trying to be La Nina. Not particularly cold relative to what we would see in a La Nina through that 3.4 region right through here. This is just an easier way to see it, I guess. But the Atlantic's so much warmer that even this out here is enough to tip the scales in the favor of a very busy Atlantic once we get closer to the climatological ramping up. And to that end, what does it look like over the next couple of weeks or so? Not much going on out there. All that brown, unfavorable, dry, dusty air. A few tropical waves come off. You can see those. These are these little green pouches that you see. There's one there. This is 210 hours out into the future, by the way, so there's that. But yeah, watch. You can see those little blobs of green, little pouches that come off, but they're surrounded by Saharan air, so any development just, gets thwarted because they're ingesting dry air and they kind of collapse. But as we march into August, the atmosphere will gradually moisten up, and we will get closer and closer to that lid coming off, and then things are going to get very, very busy. So this is very important here, especially what he says right through here. I think this is extremely important, and we'll see. Convective forcing likely to focus on the warmer Atlantic. It wants to go where the anomalies are. We've seen that time and time again in the past. All right, so here's what I want to show you. If you saw Twisters, good for you. It's a good movie. It didn't knock my socks off. Memorable, yes. All around great entertainment. I really liked it. It was fun, and I enjoyed it. Now, one interesting thing about it, and this is in the first part of the movie, I don't want to spoil much, but the theory that scientist Kate has to slow down or tame tornadoes is actually based on the exact same active ingredient in quick dams, some of their stuff. And I'm going to show you that tomorrow, on tomorrow's update, a little teaser for you, cliffhanger. I was just like, I literally blurted it out loud. Everybody sitting around me, there's like 9 of us that went there. Shh, Mark, okay, we get it. I couldn't believe it. And they literally said, it might have been Kate, it's the same stuff they use in diapers. That's all I'm going to say. And it doesn't ruin the movie at all, because you have to still go see it. Yes, they're trying to tame a tornado. Tyler Owen's trying to wrangle them. Scientist Kate, I don't remember her last name, she's trying to tame the tornadoes using the same stuff that Quick Dams uses. I was like, what? So I'm going to show you why Kate's idea at least had merit on tomorrow's update. All right, I'm going to do it right here in the office without the use of special effects. It's trying to make me drop out. All right, so I can exit this thing and go cough up a lung. Now, I'm not that sick, but I have been trying to fight off coughing here during today's update. But yeah, please tune in tomorrow. I'm going to explain it to you. And if you've seen the movie, you're going to go, oh, wow. And maybe you want to go see it again, and you'll really catch the reference there, especially when she says, it's the same stuff they use in diapers. Because that's exactly what they told me last year when I went up to Pawtucket in Rhode Island, and they explained to me how Quick Dams works. They said, well, it's the same stuff in diapers. I was like, what? Anyway, so there you go. All right? I think that's about it for today. Good to be back with you. And I just need another good night's sleep, and I can be back to 110%. Screw a darned summertime cold. Ain't nobody got time for that. That is for sure. Sorry about the bad grammar. I'm just joking, so please don't at me in the comments. All right? Have yourselves a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. From all of us at the HurricaneTrack family, I'll be back with you tomorrow.